The first synthetic cells that can reproduce and evolve for decades, scientists have tried to answer one of the biggest questions in science. How did life begin on Earth? Now, a new experiment from Harvard researchers may have brought us one step closer to the answer. In a recent study, scientists created artificial structures that behave like primitive cells, even though they are not alive in the traditional sense. These systems are built entirely from simple non-living chemicals, yet they can grow, divide, and produce offspring-like copies of themselves. What makes this discovery so shocking is not just that they replicate, but that they can also evolve. Inside the experiment, these synthetic cell-like structures form spontaneously when exposed to energy, such as light. They begin organizing themselves into compartments, almost like microscopic bubbles. Over time, these structures grow, break apart, and produce slightly different versions of themselves, and those differences matter. Because in later generations, some variants become better at surviving and reproducing than others. This is the key ingredient of Darwinian evolution, natural selection. In other words, evolution is happening in a system that is not technically alive. Researchers describe this as a protocell-like system, a possible model of what life may have looked like before biology as we know it existed. The implications are huge. If simple chemical systems can reproduce and evolve without DNA or living cells, then life might not require a sharp starting point. Instead, it could emerge gradually, step by step, from chemistry itself. Scientists believe this could help explain how life first formed on Earth billions of years ago, when there were no cells, no DNA, and no biology, only chemistry and energy. But there is still an important limitation. These synthetic cells are not alive. They do not think, they do not feel, and they cannot survive independently in nature. They exist only under carefully controlled laboratory conditions. Still, the line between chemistry and biology is starting to blur, and for the first time, scientists are watching something that looks very close to the beginning of evolution, created not by nature, but in a laboratory. The question now is no longer just how life began, but how close we are to creating it again.